Okay, a warm welcome to you from Geneva, Switzerland. This is the Leaders and Partners meeting for the 11th of February 2025. A reminder what this is about. This is funded by the EU for Health program, and it's in collaboration with the International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies. And you'll see in today's meeting, this is actually the first time we're going to be describing how we're expanding the peer learning activities that we're offering going forward. So we want to introduce the first 34 PFA focal points. We'll actually do maybe split off into just breakout rooms, but you'll see there's a startling disparity between the number of Ukrainian speaking and English speaking focal points. We'll come back to that. We'll go through how to prepare for PFA Connect 2, and this is where we'll be calling on focal points, leaders, and partners to contribute. There's a number of calls to action throughout this presentation, inviting you, encouraging you, asking you, pleading with you to do certain things to help progress the program. New insights report and courses that's about to come out. We know that a number of leaders and partners contributed to the community review process, and then we'll give you a first glance at the PFA measure instrument. So the PFA focal points is an ongoing process. The deadline is actually the 14th of February, so there may still be some new incoming applications, but because we're holding this meeting today, really the goal was to hold this meeting the day before PFA Connect 2, which is happening tomorrow, the 12th of February. We wanted to give you this interim report. There are 34 focal points as of today. You can see that most come from and live in, actually, this is country of residence, not origin, in Ukraine. And you can see a healthy mix between Red Cross, NGO, governments, private service providers, and independent practitioners, which are actually a super important group for the focal points so far. Some of the key takeaways, we've got both mental health and education professionals. You can see almost 2/3, practitioners and 68 and senior managers, again, 68%. Most applicants, most focal points can commit 1 to 4 hours weekly, but that means almost 1/3 of you said more than 4 hours, which we know for anyone familiar with volunteering principles is a lot of time. NGOs and government services, that's almost half taken together. And then one thing that stood out from the focal point responses to the questionnaire is that 4 out of 5 are already using PFA, but you can see that 65% are doing it without formal training. 100%, of course, committed to the minimum focal point responsibilities, and 4 out of 5 already have approval from their organization or are independent practitioners who don't need the approval of an organization if you're a clinician, for example. And then more than 2/3 expressed interest in becoming facilitators and mentors. And actually, with PFA Connect, that's exactly what we're going to invite leaders and partners to do, and focal points now to do tomorrow. Now, 3 areas needing attention. We noticed that almost 1/3 cited the security situation as a potential challenge. Again, almost 1/3 limited time, that we know with any working professional is going to be a continuous challenge. And then 1 in 8 said that they had issues with the stability of their internet connection. And almost half of you said, okay, that you're open to your organization becoming a partner now that you are a focal point, and going forward, exactly how that needs to happen. So we won't necessarily be clarifying that today, but we'll do a follow-up email. We want to keep the process super simple. Initially, we thought that organizations would join as partners. We realized that there's this intermediate step of inviting you to become focal points. And we've seen really, which I just want to say on a personal note, I've been really impressed with the level of dedication and commitment and participation in these partners and leaders meetings. I believe this is now the 8th meeting that we've held since October 2024. So obviously, strong engagement in peer learning activities, willingness to share experiences, interest in helping colleagues participate, and then really that commitment to program governance. So almost half of you said you don't just want to do the basic functions, but you also said you want to contribute to thinking through how this program is going to work for you, for your colleagues, for your organizations, and for other organizations. And then that interest in mentorship also stood out. So just want to mark a pause here. If there are any questions, you can raise your hand or just unmute yourself, because we are a very small group today. And then we actually want to introduce the first 34 focal points. So for the English speakers, we have Alexandra Zorek, Elena Andras, and then Suzanne El Henawi from Icelandic Red Cross, Romanian Red Cross, and then Polish organization Positive Education Institute for Alexandra. Now, for the Ukrainian speaking focal points, I'm not going to read all the names, but we'll show them here. And you can see, of course, most are actually working in Ukraine. And you can see there's that sort of balanced, what we think of as a healthy mix of the types of organizations. We didn't put where they are exactly, but there's also a lot of variety there as well. And there are, of course, that is the majority in this program focused on supporting Ukrainian children. So what we want to do now is just mark a pause. Let me see if I can actually do this. Where is, okay. For some reason, I actually don't have the breakout groups here. In this room. Okay, so probably we're not going to get to do that activity. So let me go back to the yeah. So we had intended to do small groups, but it seems like, unless it is because I'm the host. Yeah, so it looks like on this account, the breakout groups are not working for webinars. So we'll keep going. We wanted to put you into breakout groups so you could actually meet. But just reminders, and this is important for PFA Connect 2 tomorrow for anyone who's interested in helping to facilitate the English-speaking groups. Some cases, one of the key messages is to remind people that really the best practice is to type your message in the chat, raise your hand, check your microphone and headset, and then unmute yourself when you're called on. Now, it can be a much less formal process, let's say, if we're in smaller groups, but especially when the groups get bigger, that tends to be important. The other thing of note is just, how do I join the breakout room? For some reason, there's a glitch here. Yeah. Thanks, Charlotte, for responding to Wendy. And indeed, the deadline is Valentine's Day. So again, for some reason, many in PFA Connect 1 had trouble finding this button in Zoom. And we're not sure what the source of the confusion is, but if you are interested in helping to facilitate tomorrow or on other occasions, there'll be, of course, more PFA Connects. Then really it's important figuring out if you can help us understand what the problem is. And so that then you can also direct and respond to people who are having that problem in the live sessions. So any questions here at this point? And sorry, we can't do the breakout groups today. We'll have to check our Zoom configuration, which is working fine, I think, when we were just met right before this session, but it does seem to be hiding here. So we want to give you actually a big update on the PFA curriculum. So first of all, we want to give you an overview of the timeline. So the most frequent recurring activity, as you can see here, is PFA Connect. And then parallel to that is actually the Leaders and Partners meetings, so which are going to alternate. So 1 week on Wednesdays, we'll have PFA Connect. And then the following week, we'll have the Leaders and Partners meeting. We're hoping that the Leaders and Partners meeting and the focal points will be involved. We'll find meaningful fulfillment in PFA Connect, and that you'll be that this rhythm of sort of a kind of tick-tock between a PFA Connect, when we bring the community together, and Leaders and Partners have a leading role in that, in facilitating and supporting that. And then the times when we actually come together to review, as we're doing today. You see the dates on the right-hand side for the peer learning exercises. Now that is contingent upon a significant enough number of applications. And right now, we have very few for the successive Ukrainian and English cohorts. So one of the things we'll be asking you as leaders and partners is to help amplify the call for applications. If you've all taken the peer learning exercises, so this is a great opportunity to share with your colleagues. PFA Connect is supposed to be less formal, less intensive, less demanding. People can drop in and out. They have a challenge or question, they want to contribute, they can just show up. They can also do things before, during, and after. So then we have the PFA Accelerator. We're going to be introducing that. That's very different from the course or exercise type learning because it is focused on local action, and we'll be coming back to that. I'm not going to go into that today. And then we're about to introduce 2 new courses. The Introduction to PFA for Children is a click-through e-learning module. And many of you amongst the leaders and partners have already completed it, but we have 2 new ones coming: Experiences of Children, Caregivers and Helpers, and Children in Crisis, Communities of Care. Now, those will be based actually on the insights report that have that same name. We'll come back to that to explain exactly how that works, but the idea is to engage with peer knowledge in order to learn and to strengthen your own practice, and to do this at your own pace whenever you have time. We'll say a little bit more about that. So the peer learning exercise, that's the sort of most intensive offering, and that's what we started with in 2024. So it's 20 hours, and it's a certified peer learning course. We're moving to a new format and platform. I'll say more about that in a second. But and then this is completely new, and we'll be sharing with leaders, partners, and focal points, inviting you to test this module. So this is actually 6 modules in one course, and you can get a 1-hour learning certificate for each module that you complete. So you can see the modules are on caregivers' experiences, supporting caregivers, impacts on children, helper challenges and needs, understanding helper motivation, effective helper responses. And this is based on the first insights report, in case you have not seen that. And this is a great way to actually engage. And there is a peer learning component because you'll answer questions about the impacts on children, for example, and then someone else in the course will come in and give you feedback. And it's a great way to keep connecting. Now, you don't have to finish all 6 modules at once. You can choose, if you just want to do module 4 on helper challenges and needs, you can do that. So there's a lot more flexibility. Some people call that micro learning or bite-sized learning. Overall, we'll say a lot more about this. We'll be communicating a lot more about this. We're launching what we call the Go platform. So it'll be at go.learning.foundation. And it's really about learning pathways for busy practitioners. Not everybody has the time to put in 20 hours into the full peer learning exercise. So we're going to be offering more and more options for busy professionnosals. So this is where I'm going to launch the first poll, and I hope at least the poll is there. Yeah, okay. So this is asking you about your interest in the peer learning program. And if you can go ahead and just check, you should see on your screen, which one you are most interested in. Okay, I see that's actually the wrong screenshot. So it should be, and there are actually 2 questions. So you do have to scroll down. Let me just, I'm gonna need this later, but this is what it looks like. Yeah. This is the first question. It's your own interest. And then the second question is what do you think your colleagues, so in your organization, are actually interested in? So I know I've gone very quickly over the different what we're offering. So so just to go, so the Introduction to PFA for Children, that's a 20-minute module. So if you can say you have no interest if you've already taken that. PFA Connect is really rapid experiential learning. The course 1 is on experiences of children and caregivers, and then the second course is on children in crisis. So the first one is based on the application that you filled out to join the peer learning exercise. The second one is based on the case studies, and then the full peer learning exercise. So I think we're still waiting. So if you can look on your screen, you should see the poll and be able to complete it. All right, so if you have not done that yet, we'll give you another 10 seconds or so. I think there's still some people who have not done so yet, so please Okay. All right, and of course, all right, so we have high interest for Introduction to PFA for Children, and then for the two courses and the peer learning exercise. Okay, so it's kind of split and down the middle. We'll be sharing this, the results when we combine that um, with the Ukrainian group. So any questions at this point? I know we'll be coming back to that and sharing. There'll be course, more detailed course descriptions so you can look at and think about this. But as leaders and partners, really, we see you as the amplifier. So all of these different activities will be coming to you and asking you, have you shared this? Is this worth sharing with your organization, with your colleagues, with your networks? That's really question one. If it isn't, then that's a reality check for us, and we hope to have enough trust in the collaboration that we have to be able to hear from you if you see that this is not going in a direction that is actually most helpful to you. So that peer learning exercise, and then the sort of micro learning or bite-sized learning courses, and then this Go platform will offer a whole series of offerings. Okay. Any questions or comments? Do raise your hand if you, or just unmute. Let me just. All right, so you can do so. All right, so just a quick review of PFA Connect 1, and that is one is that there is the key learning for PFA Connect 1. So let me just share that with you. So you can go in case you haven't seen this. Whoops. Yeah. So this is a Google document that is now final. So you can actually go take a look at this and see what we learned on from PFA Connect 1 on preventing violence among children and adolescents, on working with very young children, supporting children while managing your own stress, or parent engagement in PFA. And keep in mind now, so for some experienced practitioners, you may be tempted to say, well, I already know all this, but that's in that case, it's really looking at your interest in mentoring and supporting colleagues so that maybe they can discover these key learning points a bit earlier than they would have otherwise. Now, we did want to show the honor roll. So if, again, I'm just posting all the links that are in the slides, but we'll be sharing the slides as well. If you'd like to see all of the participants who earn certification by sharing feedback, by sharing their experience before or after PFA Connect, and then by actually attending PFA Connect. And again, the next one is tomorrow. So again, do not hesitate to put your question in the chat, or just to raise your hand or unmute your microphone if there are any questions. But this is a bit of an information focused presentation today. There are a number of calls to action that we'll be getting to, especially with respect to PFA Connect 2. So just a reminder to explain the PFA Connect process. There's a before, during, and after. So the actual event, the live event, is happening on the 12th of February. But what happens before and what happens after is just as important, and we're looking at a 2-week cycle. So before, and especially if you're a leader, partner, focal point, we're really counting on you to invite your colleagues. And we do have that e-learning module for anybody who doesn't know anything about PFA, but is interacting, supporting Ukrainian children, then that's likely to be relevant. Before PFA Connect, before the live event, we invite you to share your experience, and then, of course, to register for the next session. There are some steps to reserve your spot. That's quite important to make sure that you're able to attend and benefit. During the PFA Connect, of course, you meet in small groups, and then we're going to share the questions and challenges, the topics that we're going to discuss on Wednesday, tomorrow. And then after, you get the insights. So that's why I've shared the key learning from PFA Connect 1. And you're welcome to share that document with colleagues who haven't been paying attention or attending, or maybe said they didn't have time, so that they can still get the benefit and also see why it may be worth putting in the time to follow this PFA Connect process and what you get out of it. So we believe the outputs, we hope, should speak for themselves. We welcome your feedback on them. If you find them underwhelming, if you find them useful, whatever the case may be, let us know. We appreciate that. So at PFA Connect 1, you can see we had we had 5 topics. And so PFA Connect 2, we're focusing on 3 topics. recognizing severe reactions and need for professional help in children, helping more than one child at once. So how do you set priorities? And then remote PFA providing support via phone or video calls. So it's time. I'm actually going to leave this. Here we want to know, we have another poll. Let me just, your role in PFA Connect. Yes. So if you could tell us if, yes, okay, is at least, yeah, if you'd like to attend PFA Connect, you should see the option on your screen. Facilitate, take notes. It's really important in order to be able to put together, assemble and output documents, so key learning points. It's really important to have people who are good at listening and good at note taking. And of course, if you're not interested or don't have time, that's important, because as leaders and partners and focal points now, you're our most motivated, most engaged leaders in this PFA community. So if if that's the case, do not hesitate to let us know. Okay. So let's let me see if we can. All right. All right. So thank you. Now, before PFA Connect 2, we have practitioner contributions. So this is a third type of document. So I've introduced the key learning points, which is the output of PFA Connect 1, and I've shared the link with that. And then the practitioner contributions are the inputs into the next PFA Connect, into PFA Connect 2. And they're really interesting because you can see here all of the themes, all of the topics that are where PFA Connect participants shared an experience, a question, a topic for discussion. Yes, there's a lot of variety. There's already a lot in there, and then of course to each one, we look at what does the PFA, how does the PFA lens apply to this. So the next question is to the point, I think, by saying you've attended, maybe this is a bit redundant, but let me just see, will you join? So yeah. So we're going to launch this one. And again, I'm first going to actually show you the topics. Yeah, right, just to keep those on screen. Will you join? And have you seen what we learned from the previous PFA Connect session? I think that's okay. And having no time to review it is okay. All right. But again, we're hoping that for leaders and partners that, so through these sessions, you can see what, if you are interested in these topics, again, we're sharing the direct link so that you can get to the actual key learning points, even if you haven't had time to fully engage with the process. And really, even if, yes, I think an important role for leaders and partners and focal points is to share these key learning outputs with people in your organization and in your networks, and to encourage them to engage with the content. Okay, so thank you. And now, now we're going to go a little bit into how the learning system works for PFA Connect. And so as leaders and partners, and especially if you're interested in contributing more actively as a facilitator, as a note taker, the first thing is that everything in relation to PFA Connect, all the outputs and inputs, so what people contribute, the experiences they share, the questions they have, the sessions, and so on, are all found in this Google Drive. And so you can see it's organized. So for PFA Connect 1, that is where you'll find the key learning. But of course, I've given you the direct link to go to the synthetic Google Doc that includes that. And then for PFA Connect 2, right now we have the new topics. So what the inputs that are helping us shape PFA Connect. So I think we need a diagram or figure to actually illustrate this. But so basically, usually, if you take the time to read a message from us, you'll find the direct link to the thing that is of greatest value at a particular point in time. Everything about this is designed so that so that there is a flexible structure that helps you find, if you have a question, a topic you'd like to discuss, you can propose it, come to PFA Connect, connect with others, hear their experiences, share yours, take that away, but also take away a written document output based on the notes, which is why we really need note takers. All of this is being driven by community needs. So for example, this question of recognizing severe reactions and need for professional help in children, that is really coming from that is related to 5 cases, experiences shared by the individuals whose names you see here. And this is across English and Ukrainian. So we do bring the 2 language communities together. For each of the topics for PFA Connect 2, so this is for tomorrow, Wednesday, we're looking at discussing these, the 3 topics, but with specific suggested discussion questions. I think one of the issues that we got in the feedback was some people find themselves in the breakout room where they're not sure where to start. So this should help, and we really encourage you, if you are a leader, partner, focal point, to take on that role where you are encouraging people to speak. Some people may not be familiar with the format. They may be waiting for an expert to come and present to them. And of course, that's not what this is about at all. You'll see there's in a Google slide format as you join PFA Connect. We've already shared the link. You can already look at the slides, but we have a super simple format. You add your notes. If you can credit or recognize who said it, and then any sort of follow-up responses. And then you can, if you need to create more lines, because there's a really lively discussion, you can do that as well. So there is one of these in the Google Slides and so everybody can access the Google Slides at the same time and be inputting their notes. So there doesn't have to be one designated note taker. We do that for very specific reasons in the peer learning exercise for those first 2 days, if any of you recall what that was like. But in this case, we have a more flexible structure. And so everyone can contribute to the notes, but usually it takes one person who says, I'm going to do it. And that is where we look to leaders and partners. So next we have the second topic is helping more than one child at once. So how do you set priorities? And again, we have suggested discussion questions, and then we have a note for the notes here. The same with the third topic, remote PFA. So here we have 3 people who who shared issues, experiences where remote PFA was directly relevant. And this is just why we take responsibility as a team for the topics that we select, relying on the experience and expertise of PFA practitioners in our team, and then have suggested discussion questions and then the notes. So if you join tomorrow, if you're able to join PFA Connect tomorrow, you'll find all of this information. You'll quickly go into breakout groups. We ask people who are joining for the first time to join early so that we don't take up the same people's precious time if you already know how it's going to work. And that is how it will work. Note about measurement. We measure 5 different things, 5 different streams of measurement. So from reach, attendance, value, certification, and impact. Impact is not an explicit, expected outcome of PFA Connect, not directly, but the accelerator where those who join will be encouraged and supported to actually develop and implement a local project, and then measure how the effect of the intervention and of the participation in peer learning on the improved health and well-being of the child or children being supported. So that's on measurement. So again, for practitioners, if you're busy, you don't need to worry about what is all this, how we measure, what we measure, the process. You can just show up and have a great discussion. If you have a topic, you can propose it. But behind the scenes, there is, again, a lot of structure designed to be flexible, but yes, but very structured. The same with the certification. So, we're very specific and very detailed about what it is we are certifying when somebody receives a certificate for PFA Connect. So there's the European Qualifications Framework, the EQF. So we estimate that this is participation or contribution to PFA Connect is documenting. We were able to document 1 hour of verified professional learning at EQF level 7. That's basically master's degree plus some experience. Of course, we know that they're far, far higher. and also potentially far lower qualification levels. But in order to usefully participate, that's where we have analyzed that. So any questions about PFA Connect 2? Would love to hear any reactions you may have about the actual. Let me just pull up the topics here. I have been presenting for a while now, which of course is contrary to our peer learning methodology, but sometimes necessary and useful. I hope that's been the case here so far, but looking forward to hearing your voices now. We do have one more agenda item, but I believe no more polls. All right, I'll go ahead and share the final part of this presentation, which is about PFA measure. So this is Carrie Eller in our team. She has developed an instrument, which is we've now reviewed as a team, and the goal is to provide evidence for PFA effectiveness at the local level. And what we can measure with a framework you can see here, it includes functioning, well-being, distress, ability to cope, social behavior, and social connectedness. And how we developed the framework, so reviewing all the MHPSS evaluation resources and frameworks that we could find. We selected the IASC Common M&E framework as the foundation for this instrument, really, PFA for PFA measure. Then we mapped the PFA data, so that's the application data, the case studies, a lot of other experiential data from participants in the program onto the IASC framework categories, created customized indicators, and then developed a kind of flexible checklist format. And what's interesting is that actually the IASC Common Framework calls for the development of tools that are easy to use, practical, that can be used by practitioners at the local levels, and not limited to mental health professionals, where any professional category can use it, whether or not they're whatever their background may be in mental health. So this, I believe, is what we have now got. So we'll be inviting you to give us feedback to actually try this tool and give us feedback on because we want to ensure that it is practical enough to be used during the Impact Accelerator. So during the accelerator, participants who join will be developing, implementing a local project. Now, project may be a bit of a misnomer, can sometimes be confusing, but really actions that you can take at your level to strengthen support for Ukrainian children. And then we'll be asking participants in the accelerator to actually use this tool to link their interventions, the actions that they take, to an effect on the health and well-being of children. So this is how we expect to get to the outcomes level with this program, and we're very excited. And so your feedback as leaders, partners, now focal points is really critical. So any questions or comments about the tool? Okay. One last then. All right. Then one last thing I'd like to explain is that is what we call the value creation survey. So this is a five-item questionnaire that you have seen and probably have seen several times by now for leaders and partners. After every activity, we ask you to tell us a few things. And this is an evidence-based scale or instrument to get at what we call value creation, which is a concept in networked or digital learning, really looking at how participation in activities in this program are creating value for you. This may not be a concept that we usually use in measurement or evaluation, but it's critical. So, for example, after this Zoom room closes, you should see offered this value creation. And one of the reasons it's critical is because this is how we're documenting the EU for Health indicator for this project. So as leaders and partners, we really want to ask you if you can, even if you are pressed for time, to take the time to complete this questionnaire. I'm actually going to demonstrate just how it works. Let me just switch over to here. Okay, yep. And so it's 5 quick questions. Usually there's a deadline. So this time the deadline has been set for Saturday. We have, of course, the consent statement, but then you have 5 Likert scale items. So has participation changed me as a professional? So if it hasn't, you can strongly disagree, okay? So for example, this session will be asking you to complete the value creation, okay? I'm going to be very optimistic. This has really changed me because I can see all these new activities coming. Now this, you'll see there's a difference between the Likert scale, which has a little star here, and this one, the open text questions that do not. So these are optional. If you're in a hurry, in order to support this project, yes, we ask that you take the time to do the Likert scale items. If you have more things to say, and again, to be very honest in your assessments, and then if you have time, if you can tell us how, and if your participation has actually helped your professional practice, taking the time to tell us that, not only do we review everything as part of quality improvement, but it's critical to actually helping us document the effectiveness of this project and what value is being created through these networked activities. So this is beyond the happy sheet, the smile sheet, where we ask you if you were satisfied. And it's an evidence-based scale developed by Etienne Wenger and Martin Delat, with whom Martin we've been working with for several years now. And so then we ask you some of the basic demographic questions. So that is the value creation framework, and we'll be asking you that question pretty much every time when you participated in an activity. This is how we document for EU for Health, and in collaboration with IFRC, we actually record so just that we determine in our measurement framework that capacity has been built. Of course, if the average of the Likert scale is 3.5 or above. So that's it for this presentation. So do take that survey if you can. And just to recap, to warmly welcome the focal points. So we'll be following up bilaterally. There's a small enough number, especially for the English, to be able to do so, to see, depending on what you told us about the level at which your organization is at, if your organization is ready to commit, to be able to follow up with you. And we want to keep it super simple. Second is preparation for PFA Connect 2. So that's tomorrow. So we'll certainly need some English language facilitators, and I would encourage you to consider also helping to take the notes. So again, it doesn't need to be an individual responsibility, but we know having at least one person in the room who does, who's willing to help can make a tremendous difference in terms of the outputs actually being useful to fellow practitioners who are not in the room when we meet. So this is the concept of asynchronous learning. And then the new offering, so the Go learning platform, that will be following up with you. And then PFA Measure will be sending you the invitation with a link so you can actually kick the tires, test the instrument, and go from there. And last but not least, don't forget to complete the value creation survey. So I think that's it. We haven't had any questions or comments, which of course, like any facilitator, worries me. So even if you've been multitasking, it'd be lovely to hear from you and to ask how you're doing, and to just let us know if you have any thoughts at this point about the information that we've shared with you. Yes, Wendy.
Yeah, just to say, I think it's really helpful to have these sessions and to have that link in with each other. I was hoping to come tomorrow, but a meeting has just literally come in, which means I can't come tomorrow. My boss has had to go to Spain, so I'm going to have to cover her at another meeting tomorrow. So, but I definitely think that whole connect thing and that connecting with others will make a huge difference to our practice and how we support people in the communities. So for me, this is just a wonderful way of connecting with others across the world who are dealing with the same challenges and issues and concerns, and learning from each other.
Wonderful. Thank you, Wendy. Sorry you won't be, you're going to miss it. Do you have colleagues from your team who will be able to attend then?
No, we're only a very small team. I've put down to be a focal point so I can spread this wider into the British Red Cross. Obviously, we have a much bigger refugee support team and a much bigger international team. So, yeah, so it's the beginnings for us to spread this further. So.
Okay. Because one thing is, again, you do not need sort of PFA experience to join. We have that e-learning module, and basically anybody supporting Ukrainian children is welcome. And then also, even though you're not able to attend the live event today, very often we tend to think of that live event like that's it, that's the training, or that's the part that matters. But actually, the most significant learning happens before. So that's but also happens after. Because after the session, even if you were not in the session, you can still share your insights about any of the 3 topics that have been proposed in writing, and then that is added to the notes that have been taken during the session. So even if you can't join, and we know that busy professionals like yourself need that flexibility, you can still contribute and look for an email that you'll receive on Thursday that says, if you missed it, this is what you can do. And in fact, this may not be the most important aspect for you, but you can still earn certification by making a contribution after the session in case you missed it. So that's one of the ways in which we respond to that, so that need that you may have competing priorities. So Wendy, will we be seeing a contribution on one of the 3 topics after the session?
Yes, I will have a look on Thursday.
Okay, wonderful. All right, thank you. And Wendy, I also remember in the conversation way back when that you said that there were networks that British Red Cross is connected to, that you're connected to. So yes, we include in a lot of emails, you'll see, click here to share. Yes,
yeah, I share all the time across all my networks. Whenever something comes out, it gets shared to everybody. So,
okay.
And especially on my LinkedIn has a lot of people. So I try and make sure that I share that as much as I can. So we will continue to share and continue to hope that people take up this. So, yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you. Anna, a warm welcome to you. Would love to hear from you as well.
It's very nice. I like to share the knowledge. They are already write in the group, because I'm Montessori pedagogist, so at the moment I'm not working so much on this case now because I have another stuff to do, but I'm going back to the field in the next month. So I'm thinking to go to Ukraine and working especially on the border, border maybe in Poland, or something like that, to continue my work, because I don't know how I can manage now, because the project finished last year with me, working, because the refugees go out, but now maybe I'm going back, maybe I'm not going back, so I'm not sure. Maybe I will do case study in another country or something, but I encourage the college, Nadia, she's professional working in Spain with the Ukrainian refugees, she's the Ukrainian one. So I send this training also to her. So let's see if she will enjoy it, But I really like to use, I'm not coming from the psychological background. So I'm using different methods on my work, which I see they're more successful. They all these kind of contributions, that I'm having, So that's my opinion. But I invite the friends that are working on the cases now, But, sometimes you work, then you finish, and then you find something else, So that's the thing, yeah.
Thank you, Anna. All right, Elena, Ina, Suzanne, it would be lovely to hear from you as well before we close this this session. I'm not sure if we set it for 45 or 60 minutes, but
Hi, can you hear me?
yes, loud and clear.
I'm very excited about tomorrow because I saw the topics and they seem really interesting, especially how to prioritize what to do when you see two children having some difficulties and who need help. And I think that's pretty interesting. And I also will share when we'll meet at the when we meet the weekly with our group at the Red Cross. I will talk to them and share what I learned. And I'm really excited for tomorrow. Although my time, I have an appointment and I have to be there, but I won't be missing it, but I won't be too active too.
Okay, wonderful, Elena. And are any colleagues, any of your colleagues joining you tomorrow?
I don't think so because it's a rough week and everyone is struggling with a lot of deadlines. So I
Okay.
don't think so.
And have you been able to share the key learning points? So let me just go to that so everyone can see what it looks like. Have you been able to share that document with your colleagues? Because even if they're too busy to attend, they can still see what comes out of PFA Connect, or the first one anyway.
I didn't yet, but I will. I'll try this evening to see if I
Okay.
get home.
If you have, this is also something you can share on WhatsApp groups, or if you have an internal communication channel to say. And then the thing to do is always to include the link to the to the page where people can sign up. Yes. But do you see what I'm showing on screen is practitioner contributions. And so here you have, or actually this is sorry, this is not the PFA Connect one document. Hang on. I hope I have it. I have that one. I may not. Yeah. Okay. So yeah. So here's one of the problems is that we have yes. Yeah. As soon as there are multiple documents, so this is the document to share. The other one's interesting too, but it's an input for PFA Connect too. But this is on preventing violence among children and adolescents, working with very young children, supporting children while managing your own stress, parent engagement. You can see here. My question to you, Elena, is this something that you think would be useful to share with your colleagues?
Yeah, totally. Especially what we've discussed 2 weeks ago at the first PFA Connect, because
Yep.
it has some relevant issues for everyone, especially what's happening in school or at colleges, because violence is among everybody and it's something daily, unfortunately.
Yeah. Okay. So it can be as simple as sharing this link on a group or in an email and just saying, yes, you can look at this. And that means that PFA Connect then benefits not just the people who are in the room when it happens, but anybody who, any practitioner who's supporting Ukrainian children. And I think this may also have applicability for non-Ukrainian children, but that's the focus of our project. And then, of course, we have the acknowledgement section so that the fact that this does not come out of thin air, it doesn't come out of an expert committee, but it comes out of the lived experience of practitioners like yourself. That seems important to us. That's why we have the honor roll, and this is one of the key documents. And of course, there'll be a similar document with key learning points from PFA Connect 2. So each time we're going to build the knowledge base and do so very rapidly in this 2-week cycle. So that we can keep. So if I could ask you and Ina and Suzanne, if you haven't already shared these key insights, I shared the wrong link during the session. Key insights from PFA Connect 1. This is probably one of the simplest ways to say people don't necessarily understand this Connect concept because it's different from expert presentations or formal courses. So this is a way to say, look, this is what we're learning together, and with practitioners from all over Europe who have the experience, both the theoretical knowledge, the academic expertise, but also the practice of supporting Ukrainian children. And this is what we have been able to document or share. So Ina and Suzanne, do you think that this document, have you shared it? And then is this something that you think would be useful to your colleagues? I'm just asking Ina and Suzanne to unmute if you are having a technical difficulty, but also understand if you're multitasking or if you are. Yes, Susanne, a warm welcome to you.
Hi, how are you?
Very well, thank
Yes.
you.
Actually, I have not shared it, but I know that some of my colleagues have been invited also, but I don't know if they are going to take part of it. But
Okay.
I'm like looking forward for tomorrow just to be there and to start also with more action in PFF for children.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much, Susan. Yeah.
Thank you.
And I would suggest maybe we need to be more explicit in saying this is now a document. Now that it's final, this is a document that you can share with colleagues who haven't participated in PFA Connect. And it sounds like the other key message, and this is very often the case. People think that like the 12th of February tomorrow is it, but actually the way we've designed this, you can contribute before PFA Connect and you can contribute after the event. So there really are ways to learn, even if like Wendy, you're not able to join tomorrow. There are many ways to contribute, and several of these ways in which you contribute, you can still earn certification even if you're not able to join on Wednesday. This, however, is not to encourage you to to be absent on Wednesday. We definitely need you as Focal Points leaders, partners to join. So Ina, would be lovely to hear from you before we go, but I understand if you're not able to respond. Really appreciate your participation. And then, as I said, it'd be great if you're able to complete the value creation questionnaire. Tell us what value you gain from this session. This is a questionnaire that we're now generalizing and repeating, and it may be a little bit tedious if you've answered it already 10 times, and then we're asking you again to answer an 11th time. But it's actually really important for many reasons. Where this, we want to measure the benefits of this project, and we also need to report on those benefits back to our project partners and funders. So your participation there is much appreciated. And if you have colleagues, please do ask them and encourage them to contribute as well. I think that is it for today. Thank you so much. It's a very small group of English speakers today, and that makes each of you even more special and even more important to contribute and to hopefully to benefit as well from this program on the English speaking side. So thank you very much. Last call if you'd like to make a comment, to share your feedback or your thoughts going forward, and then we'll see you tomorrow for PFA Connect 2. We're very excited too, and we hope that you manage to get your colleagues excited so that they join too, and you're not the only one from your organization who's benefiting from this. It's also much more fun if you can discuss with colleagues afterwards what you learned, and look at the key learning points in the documents. Much more useful to look at that with colleagues from your workplace or from your network or your location. Once again, thank you, and just to thank also the TGLF team. Today it's Hannah, Julia, and Charlotte. We look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Bye.